Good evening. I'm Jackie Thomas, the president of Equality California Institute's Board of Directors, and I would like to thank you all for joining us tonight for Solidarity and Pride. Tonight, we honor the roots of pride by standing in solidarity with those who came before us and those who in recent weeks have marched and protested, and those of you who are gathered here with us this evening. You have taken to the streets and on social media to continue our fight for racial justice and against police brutality, and we stand with you. The first Prides 50 years ago were also protests against police brutality, commemorating uprisings at the Stonewall Inn, Compton's Cafeteria, and the Black Cat Tavern. And I might add, they were led by Black and Latinx transgender women. Pride has always been and always will be a protest against injustice, and this year is no different. Tonight, we bring to you a diverse group of advocates, artists, and community leaders, all raising their voices in speech and in song in support of a common goal, a world that is healthy, just, and fully equal for all LGBTQ+ people and for the diverse communities to which we belong. The struggles for racial justice and LGBTQ+ equality are not the same, but they are inextricably linked, particularly for many of us who live at the intersection of both. We at Equality California are committed to both of those struggles until the work is done. So again, thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoy Solidarity and Pride.
It's Pride Month in the United States, and I am happy to stand in solidarity with the LGBT community as all of us gather together to fight for our freedoms. We have a ways to go, the struggle continues, and we will be alongside of each other until we win. Thank you.
Hello, Equality California. This is Assemblymember Shirley Weber, and I'm just really coming in to, once again, to thank you for all the hard work you do here in California. You have done an amazing job in opening up opportunities and perceptions for individuals that's helped all of us in our challenges that are there. You want to know what it means to be together, to have some sense of unity among those of us who've been traditionally discriminated against and left out. Well, there's no greater power than all of us working together. I saw that today with ACA 5, the affirmative action repeal bill that was on the floor of the Assembly and the Senate today. All of us came together. All of the different caucuses came together. The LGBT caucus, the Jewish caucus, the African American caucus, the Latino caucus, the API caucus, the Women's caucus. All of us came together to fight this particular battle, and LGBT caucus was there right in the middle of all of it. I want to thank you because there's no greater power than we have when we really support each other. We make America stronger. We make California a better place to live. So once again, I'm glad to be with you. I know we are in these unusual circumstances where we don't have the opportunity to show the pride that we feel in who we are and to support you in your efforts of expression of pride. But once again, have a wonderful Pride experience. Have a wonderful Pride week. I'm honored to be a friend of the Equality California and to help in any way I can to make sure that our work is strong and solid and that we impact every aspect of California. So once again, great week. Thank you very much always for your support, and you always will have me. Thank you.
Hi, Equality California. My name is Bronze Avery, and I just want to take a moment to talk about the state of the world right now. Black Lives Matter, especially the lives of Black trans people who are constantly faced with racism and extreme homophobia every day. It's important that we continue to fight the fight that their efforts pave the way for, and that resistance is not a one-lane road, it is a highway, and we need all lanes full. This is my new single, Only You.
My body to the night, every moment feels so right. If we get into a fight, kiss me like you're kryptonite. My music in your car, I'm higher than the stars. Let's stay out after dark and tag me like a watermark. My pulse is rushing, give me the loving, give me the loving like all the time. You feel so soothing, my favorite new thing. There's no confusing my heart, yeah. sparkle in your eye. A mystery to find me, I'll show you a surprise. If you lead, I'll follow you everywhere you go. When we dance in the sheets, Cupid's arrow. Ooh, my pulse is rushing. Give me the loving, give me the loving, like all the time. You feel so soothing, my favorite new thing. There's no confusing my heart, yeah. Only you, it is good. Only you make me feel this good. Only you make me feel this good. Only you make me feel this.
Thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great, great, great day. Bye.
Hey family, it's your sister Ebony Ava Harper coming to you live from Sacramento, California to stand in solidarity with my family at EQCA with this wonderful event, Solidarity and Pride. I wanted to touch on two things. One, it is a part of queer and trans tradition to stand against any oppressive system that oppresses anyone, not just our community. We stand up for all people. You've seen that in ACT UP. You saw that at Stonewall riots. You saw that at Compton cafeteria riots. You even saw this recently with Blossom Brown pushing back on the media on not being inclusive to Black trans voices. So it is important that our LGBT community, that is literally the rainbow, we have people from all backgrounds in our community, that we stand up against police oppression and abuse against our community, any economic system that is holding down our communities, and all matters of oppression. And so I know it's a rough time for a lot of people, and that's why I'm going to hit you with number two. On Pride, at Prides all around the country, we have a tradition of playing Carry On by Martha Wash. And the song talks about being low in the valley and still carrying on. And a lot of us have been beaten and exhausted from all the things that are happening with this public health crisis and with the civil unrest that's happening nationally. But it is a part of our tradition also to carry on when we're deep in the valley and when we're feeling sad and when we have no one to turn to. So I just want to say, stand up for what's right and carry on, even when you're feeling heavily burdened. And let's beat that orange man in the White House come November. All right, I love you, and solidarity and pride.
Hello, my dear and beautiful siblings. I hope you are all doing well and taking care of yourselves on this uncertain times. I just want to send a message of solidarity and remind you that Black Lives Matter. I want to obviously just let you know that in these uncertain times, it is time for us to unite and mobilize. Yes, it is great that many of our siblings are out there on the streets really advocating for change in our lives, right? And it is important that the work is not just going to the streets, but it is important for us to strategize and organize and make sure that all the work that we are all collectively doing, that we make sure that it's implemented and that it ultimately creates the changes that we all want. But I want for us to also be reminded that the work is not easy, and I know that it's not for everybody. But if we all support the work that many organizations are doing, particularly Black and brown organizations that are doing great work to change the landscape of all of our communities. I invite you to continue to support our communities, to continue to be proud of who you are, not just on Pride Month, but always. And understand that as individuals, we have power. And as a community, we have power. And to make sure that we exercise our power and our rights. Continue to be blessed, receive all the love, and please take care of yourselves.
What's good, family? My name is Yasmin Monet Watkins, and I'm a proud Black, bisexual, poet, actress, comedian, writer, and organizer with Black Lives Matter Los Angeles. Thank you for this invitation. As we're talking about pride and solidarity, it's imperative that we lift up the ways in which queer Black folks are not safe in this country. How we are disproportionately the targets of police violence and white supremacist vigilante violence. Fam, we are out here dying, and that is what is at stake. When we say Black Lives Matter, we are absolutely uplifting the names of our Black and queer trans siblings who were stolen from us far too soon. Folks like Jamel Moore and Timothy Dean and Tony McDade. We say their names and remember why we come to this liberation work. Remember that Stonewall began as a resistance to police violence. Remember, our sister Marsha P. Johnson said there is no pride for some of us without liberation for all of us. I joined Black Lives Matter because it is a Black-led intersectional movement that is queer and trans affirming. Because of our deep commitment to ending state-sanctioned violence against all of our people. I see so many folks finally saying and chanting Black Lives Matter and posting and marching in the streets. Welcome. But I also want to push you a little further and ask the question, how are you actually showing up for Black lives in the ways that are being requested? The call from the community is clear. Defund the police and reimagine what public safety can look like. The call is to invest in our community so we have housing, education, healthcare, mental health care, good jobs, healthy food, free public transport, small business support, real support for our community. The call is for our community to stand with us in our fight for justice by demanding our elected officials hold those who murder us accountable. When we talk about ending white supremacy, it's not just the blatant forms of white supremacy, terrorism like we see with Trump, but also ending white supremacy in its liberal forms, i.e. our mayor, Eric Garcetti, Jackie Lacey, our district attorney, the city council, the LAUSD school board members that refuse to remove the police from killing and incarcerating our children. We're looking at you. Defund the police. Reimagine a world where we are safe. This is what we're asking. We engage in this fight because of a deep love of ourselves and our people, because our love is stronger than fear. And we ask you to be brave and join in our fight for liberation to ensure that all of us are free. So with that, I love y'all. Happy Pride. Fam, I see you out there shining. Let's go, y'all. We got work to do.
Pride is about resilience, self-determination, and liberation. It's about standing in your truth and letting the world see you just as you are. Letting them know that their approval comes second and that yours is the most important. This song is called Save Myself, and my name is Vincent. So here we are, I'm staring at your teary-eyed. I think it's time you said it. I swear you won't regret it, but damn, I'm glad you said it. So here we are, I'm staring at you, worried I won't find the words to fix it. Baby, please just listen. Maybe we could fix it. I'm so happy that you're here, and I can see that you really Loving me takes courage. I'm so happy that you're here, and I can see that you really understand that I need you. But you don't have to say a word. I'll save myself. I'm not asking for devotion. I just need you to care. Not asking for nirvana. Just want you to be there. Just 'cause I'm crying rivers don't mean I'm asking for help. I'll save myself. When I need you here, I'll call your name. I hope you do it too if you feel the same. How does that sound, baby? I don't ever wanna take the choice away, so I'm not asking for nirvana. I just need you to care. Not asking for what you need. I just need you to be there. Just 'cause I'm crying rivers don't mean I'm asking for help. I'll save myself, yeah. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. Happy Pride.
Last summer, I had the privilege of being at the Stonewall Inn to inaugurate the LGBTQ Wall of Honor. It was part of the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots, spurred by ongoing police violence. One of the first names on the LGBTQ Wall of Honor is Marsha P. Johnson, the Black transgender activist who led the fight at Stonewall. Seeing all the names on the wall, our fierce forebearers, as I call them, was an important reminder to me of how far we've come, the struggles that we've faced, and how far we have to go. This summer, protests spurred by righteous grief and anger over ongoing police violence have energized communities all across the country. I believe these protests show that there is real potential to finally bring about lasting change after 400 years of systemic racism in America. That change only happens if we all work together. For many of us, this is a time when listening and learning is extremely critical. I know that my experience as a woman, as a lesbian, and the LGBTQ community's diverse experiences have commonalities and similarities with others' struggles. But they're not the same, and that doesn't qualify me to speak for others. What I am qualified to speak on, though, is the California State Legislature and the role that we can play at this crucial moment in time. As leader of the state Senate, I will work with the Legislative Black Caucus, the LGBTQ caucus, the Latino caucus, in fact, all caucuses and anyone who's ever felt marginalized, to ensure the momentum that we're seeing right now results in real change and better outcomes. 400 years of poison won't be eradicated overnight, but it can and it must happen. As a woman and as a lesbian, I know that others who came before me lifted me up and helped me rise and helped me reach the place at the table that I have today. We have the duty to do that for others and to do everything we can to make the table bigger so more people can rise and more voices can be heard. And like you, I'm delighted the Supreme Court has just ruled that in every state in our nation, you can raise your voice, be open about who you are, and still be able to keep your job. Thank you for letting me be part of this special celebration of Pride. And to our community and to all our allies, stay proud, stay safe, and stay together.
Hi, I'm Senator Scott Wiener. I have the honor of serving as chair of the California Legislative LGBTQ Caucus. And I want to wish you a very happy and celebratory and also meaningful, impactful, and just Pride. This is not our typical Pride. I look forward to celebrating Pride in person next year, but this year we'll do it digitally and we will make the most of it. But this year, of course, is not your typical year. Between the pandemic and the growing and long overdue broad-based demand for racial justice, this is a Pride where we have an opportunity to make meaningful change. We must always remember that Pride grew out of a riot and started as a protest against police brutality and societal repression. And today, more than ever, we need to remember the roots of Pride. When we look at what has been happening, the murder of George Floyd, the murder of Breonna Taylor, the attacks and murders of Black trans women, we are at a turning point and we must decide as a society, are we going to head in the direction of racial justice and equity for everyone in our community? Or are we going to continue down the same dysfunctional, unjust path that this country's been going down for a long time? I choose a path towards justice and racial justice. We must move in that direction as a community. We need to link arms and move forward together. Let's take this difficult moment and turn it into true, lasting change. I want to thank Equality California for its incredible leadership for our state and for our community. We work with Equality California all the time on legislation to create a better and more just California. So everyone have a wonderful and impactful Pride.
Happy Pride Month.
As a multiracial, same-sex family, to our brothers and sisters in the Black community, we stand with you.
Black Lives Matter.
Happy Pride, everyone. California Assembly Member Evan Lowe here, wishing you all the best of success. As we celebrate the recognition of LGBTQ Pride Month this June, we also know that there are so many important things for us to also recognize with respect to our stand in solidarity. Let us join in celebration, hand in hand, in love, respect, compassion, empathy, and mercy with those that are continuing every day to fight for the basic fundamentals of basic equality in our country. So let us reaffirm our commitment to this coalition and to solidarity. Again, happy Pride to so many of you.
Today, as we celebrate Pride, we recognize that we're living through a very fragile time. Being separated from each other and our loved ones is a vivid reminder of how much we all need one another. So today, as we celebrate Pride, we embrace our diversity and we embrace each other. By celebrating Pride, we're leading with love and the recognition that our diversity is our beauty and our strength. Our diversity gives us a wealth of creativity, energy, and tremendous talent. This week, we celebrate the Supreme Court ruling that the Civil Rights Act will now protect the LGBTQ community from workplace discrimination. Let us join together with our partners in the Black Lives Matter movement because we all seek the same thing, civil rights. Our laws may change and current court cases will be decided, but our collective struggle will continue. Let us move forward stronger together, honoring one another and showing love, respect, and appreciation for each other while seeking justice and equality.
What's up, Equality California? My name is Kieran. I perform as Madame Gandhi, and it feels so good to join you during this virtual event to celebrate Pride. As many of us know, the sort of official Pride celebrations started 50 years ago with protest and with power from Black trans activist Marsha P. Johnson. And it feels obviously like history is repeating itself, but this time may we be wiser, may we show up with not just our words but our actions, and may we continue to hold space so that we can have important dialogue about how the queer community can show up for Black bodies and how folks who vice versa have experienced police brutality and how folks who have experienced police brutality can show up for the queer community. As we know, all Black lives matter, and not just cis ones. And in our bravery to dismantle racial injustice and dismantle one system of oppression, may we not build up another system of oppression that targets folks of different genders. The song that I would like to share with you today as we celebrate holding space for the queer community and for folks of color is a song called See Me Through. And See Me Through is really about showing up in a relationship, showing up with love, with kindness, with care. And the music video that we made for it is features two women falling in love, Anya Catherine and Deja Tai, who happen to be a married couple in real life and really gifted visual artists. And when you watch the video, you see them falling in love and kind of going through the drama that any relationship might. But what you don't know is that they also directed and concepted the entire music video with me. And that was really important to me because queer women's stories are always represented on screen, but oftentimes the stories are not written by us. They're written by somebody else who may not have had that experience. And so I'm not here to tell other people how to make their music, but I am here to design and provide the alternative. And if we don't own our narrative, somebody else will tell our stories for us, and they'll get it wrong, perpetuating the very myths that hold us back to begin with. So I'm Madame Gandhi. I really appreciate holding space with you, Equality California. And this song is called See Me Through.
I said, come and live with me. I get so inspired by you. A yellow loft near a purple sea. I'll make the bed and lay a table for two. I've been lost for a little while, seeking my truth like a little child, baby. So come share that last beer with me, and come and see me through. Hey, oh. My emotions were tired, wrestling with demons, wrestling with my pain. But I seek freedom, I seek freedom in your love. I said, come and be with me. I like who I am around you. Down the street there's a nursery. I'll get some seeds and plant a garden for two. I've been thinking about forever now, and all I know is that good love is the truth. So come share your complexity, and come and see me through. Hey, oh. My emotions were tired, wrestling with demons, wrestling with my pain. See me through. But I seek freedom, see me through. I seek freedom in your love. I owe it all to you. So come and see me through.
Thank you so much, Equality California. Stay in touch with me on Instagram and Spotify and all those places so that I can continue to share where I will be protesting and I will be celebrating Pride. I'm Madame Gandhi visiting you in downtown LA, and thanks, Equality California, for your incredible work.
Hi, I'm Holly Mitchell, proud to represent the 30th Senate District here in your California State Capitol. We're in the Capitol Rotunda today. And honestly, you know, times are tough right now. Not only are we in the midst of a global public health pandemic, but we're also continuing to fight against racism, police brutality, and the continued marginalization of our communities. But you know, the thing is, this fight isn't new. We've been here before. And Pride has its roots in standing up against police violence, inequality, and systemic racism. Compton's cafeteria protests in San Francisco, one example. The response to the raid on the Black Cat Tavern in my hometown of Los Angeles, and of course, Stonewall Uprising itself. All events protesting continued police brutality and harassment. We know positive change comes out of when we lock arms and rally and protest together. And while we've come a long way since those days, we still have a long way to go to experience complete and total acceptance and equality. I intend to continue to do my work as a policymaker, as an ally, to make sure that positive change continues to be around that corner. So for me, solidarity and pride means honoring, uplifting, and protecting the voices of our Black queer family. It means when we chant, we include the names of Tony McDay, Dominique Fales, and all those whose names that have already been forgotten or never mentioned. It means that when we say Black Lives Matter, we mean all Black lives matter. It means that when my colleagues and I are creating legislation, we keep the most marginalized of our communities at the front of mind. I want to wish you a happy Pride. I want to say that we are in this together, because you know I will throw down with you, and I'm proud to stand in solidarity with all. Thanks for all that you do. Happy Pride.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Canick. Solidarity and pride means to me that the LGBTQ community has a duty to be at the front, back, and center of the battles faced by all people of color. This moment, this movement, it will not pass over the LGBTQ community. Brother James Baldwin said that to be a Negro in this country and relatively conscious is to be in a rage almost all the time. The rage that Black people are expressing in this country needs to be collectively heard and shared by the LGBTQ community. Audre Lorde said that I am not free while any woman is unfree, even when her shackles are different from my own. The LGBT community is not free as long as Black lives are seen as expendable and not equal to others. Solidarity and pride means fighting for my life, for our lives, as though they were your own. Because as Baldwin warned us, if they come for me in the morning, they will be coming for you that night.
Family, 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 hello. I am Blossom C. Brown, and I have an important message for you. I just want to first start off by saying, without Black trans people, there is no Black movement. Without Black queer people, there is no Black movement. Without every single Black person ever, there is no complete Black movement if one single Black person feels left behind. We all have to come together for solidarity and for unity. One thing I will say, in the LGBTQ movement, we are thriving. We are truly thriving. You know, just recently, LGBTQ protections in the workplace are still protected. Our dreamers are still protected. But right now in the trans community, the Trump administration has decided to take away the rights of health care to the transgender community, which means anybody can discriminate against the trans community for access to health care. And that is not enough. And I just want to cordially remind all of you that until all LGBTQ people are free, none of us are free. Until Black trans people are free, none of us in the Black community are free. We must be willing to work together to dismantle these systems and to be able to have equality across the board. We are in a new Jim Crow right now, where lynching now is a knee on my neck and I can't breathe, instead of the rope around my neck. Well, actually, that's actually making a comeback as well, too. And the thing is, we're having such powerful protests, which is truly, truly amazing. But the reality of it is, Every time one single person feels left out, that one person is making their own protest, and the domino effect is arriving, and we're having separate but equal protest. This is no different than white people being in this restroom and colored people having this restroom right here. Family, we have to do better.
Hi, my name is Chris Hayashi, and I'm the Executive Director of the Transgender Law Center. We are the largest national trans ed organization in the country. Thank you so much to Equality California for organizing this important event. I want to start by grounding us in this time we are in. We are in a time of continued Black deaths and murders at the hands of the police, a time when people across the country have risen up in protest of the recent murders of Black people, only to face escalated police and state violence and repression. This also comes during the time of a global pandemic, when we have lost people, many have lost jobs, homes, and face extreme isolation. And for trans communities, we have always faced violence, discrimination, and lack of having our basic needs met. And this has all gotten so much worse under the Trump administration and in this current time. And the murders and violence against trans women of color continue, the majority of whom are Black and brown, including the recent murders of Dominique Fells, Rhea Milton, Selena Hernandez, and Jane Thompson. Overall, the failure of our society to value people, to value humanity, is more visible than ever before. And what is also happening is beautiful and powerful sustained uprisings all across the country, many led by Black LGBT people. We're also seeing historic wins, including the Supreme Court decisions on Title VII and DACA this past week. And we remind ourselves that as LGBT people, particularly Black and brown trans women, that we have always taken care of each other, often when no one else would. We've housed each other, been family to each other, fed each other. So we can imagine that if the billions of dollars in police budgets were channeled to that community care instead. So we join a clear call to defund the police and invest in communities, and our people in Minneapolis show us that we can win. If there has ever been a moment where we need to look to the leadership of Black trans women and femmes who have always led our communities, it is now. This year at the Transgender Law Center, we launched the Trans Agenda for Liberation, a community-led guide towards the world we deserve. Trans people hold the knowledge, power, and joy to create a future where we can all not only survive, but thrive. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sancha, and I'm honored to be celebrating Pride with you all. But before I begin, I want to remind you that Pride began 50 years ago this month with an uprising against police brutality led by Black and Latinx transgender women. Pride has always been and will always be a protest against police brutality, systemic anti-Blackness, and institutionalized white supremacy. All Black lives should be celebrated, and we must continue to center and elevate our Black, brown, and Indigenous trans community. And now I will do a song for you. Pásame las drogas, límpiame el cerebro, límpiame el cerebro. Pásame las drogas, pásame las drogas, límpiame el cerebro, límpiame el cerebro. Tú me pagaste con drogas, tú me pagaste con drogas, me las eché toditas, me las tomé toditas. Tú me pagaste con drogas, tú me pagaste con drogas, me las eché toditas, me las tomé toditas. We were deep inside this as long as I follow your flame. Once I felt the flames, I fled. I ran away. Drogada era valiente. On these drugs, I was so brave, but sober I feared your cosmic ways. You told me together we can make a name in so many cosmic ways. You told me together we can make a name in so many cosmic ways. You told me together we can make a name in so many cosmic ways. You told me together we can make a name as long as I follow your flame. Pásame las drogas, pásame las drogas, límpiame el cerebro, límpiame el cerebro. Pásame las drogas, pásame las drogas, límpiame el cerebro, límpiame el cerebro. Tú me pagaste con drogas, tú me pagaste con drogas. Me las eché toditas, me las tomé toditas. Tú me pagaste con drogas, tú me pagaste con drogas. Me las eché toditas, me las tomé toditas.
Hey everyone, it's Running Bear, coming here to you through this new digital world. I just want to say how remarkable it is to see so many people from different backgrounds and nationalities coming together for the betterment of so many people. It is because of the willingness of those before us that we've been able to come this far. Now, it is up to our generation to teach tolerance and equality to as many people as possible. I truly believe the actions that are being taken by so many brave marchers and protesters is already starting to get things moving in today's world. As a proud Native and Hispanic American, I understand the need for equality and representation. During my own time while protesting the Dakota Access Pipeline, I saw firsthand how racial and social injustice is too often perpetuated against people of color. It was here I knew we had to continue our fight for equal representation under the law. I'm so proud and grateful to be a part of this year's Pride functions, and although this year may not have the parties and the parades, we are witnessing something so much greater. Our sense of pride can only be made stronger from this. I truly hope this year's struggles light the way to a much brighter tomorrow.
Hi, it's Eddie Martinez, Executive Director of Latino Equality Alliance. I would like to give a pride message of solidarity to my Black, queer, and trans brothers and sisters out there. I know these are challenging times, but it's through these challenging times we see the best of the human spirit, and that spirit is what's going to push us over the mountain and to that place where we have racial justice and equality and respect to all human beings, particularly to the members of the Black community. And I also want to give a message that everyone, please use this time to strengthen your physical, your mental, your spiritual wellness, because this is the time that you're going to need that to push through. So take care of yourself. Let's keep fighting, and we're going to do this. Take care.
My name is Jeremy Payne. I work with Equality California. It's hard to overstate how much is at risk through the 2020 census for the LGBTQ community. The LGBTQ community has disparities that are far greater than our non-LGBTQ peers.
My name is Adrienne Roy, and I work with Equality California. The stakes become very clear that if we don't get an accurate count, we won't get the resources we need for our community.
And you know what's going to happen if people don't get counted? Our community will lose
$2,000 per person. Over 10 years, that's $20,000.
That's $20,000 that comes back to our community, to our LGBTQ community, to our Black community, to our communities of color, to our rural communities. These are resources that go to our roads, to our schools, to our hospitals. That matters.
I know a lot of this is going to be virtual, so people can actually get counted on their cell phone, on their computer, but they have to know that. If we're not counted, that money is not going to come to our communities. That money is going to go to other states. And that's our money. That's our money that we paid in federal taxes.
Frankly, that's why my jam is getting out and talking to folks.
Quality California wanted to make sure that we were involved in doing our part so that we all will be counted.
Good evening. My name is Breanna Sinclairé, and I am a proud Black trans woman, and I'm an opera singer. I just want to thank Equality California for inviting me to be a part of this very special program. I'm also grateful and honored to be amongst powerful, great Black women and Black trans women. America is going through a revolution, and it's going to take more than just a program to move forward. I want to see actual changes for the years to come. I want to see my Black trans sisters getting employed, getting housing. I want to see my Black trans sisters and Black women in higher places, in higher positions, in CEO positions. We have a lot of work to get done. This evening, I will be singing Summertime from the opera Porgy and Bess by George Gershwin. I hope you enjoy.
Evening. This is Rick Chavez-Zabur, and I'm the Executive Director of Equality California. I want to take this moment to thank you for being a part of our Solidarity in Pride event. As we observe and celebrate Pride Month, we must take a moment to reflect on what Pride is, on what Pride stands for. Pride is about resilience, about standing up, about self-determination. It's about being unapologetically who we are rather than what society tells us to be. It's about solidarity. Equality California stands in solidarity with the Black community and communities of color from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C., from Minneapolis to Las Vegas, from Oakland to Detroit. We see you, we hear you, and we will fight with you and for you until the work is done. Right now, our nation is at an inflection point. We are in the middle of two pandemics, one new and one centuries old, both of which are taking the lives of our Black siblings, friends, neighbors, and loved ones. And we as a community, as a people, cannot stand and will not allow that to happen. Now is the time to act. None of us can afford to sit on the sidelines. The fight for racial justice, for civil rights, for a world that is healthy, just, and fully equal for all LGBTQ+ people, including LGBTQ+ people of color, is not someone else's battle to fight, it's all of ours. We need to take action to end anti-Black violence, to end structural racism, and end transphobia, and end xenophobia. It's uncomfortable work, and it should be. Now is not the time to be comfortable. Now is the time for true solidarity. So again, thank you for joining Equality California and our incredible special guests this evening for Solidarity and Pride. And a very special thank you to Weed Maps for their generous support in bringing this free community event to life. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay connected in solidarity. Good evening.